Could we remain standing for a silent prayer or meditation? Thank you. Just before the secretary reads the order, I just want to indicate that Rule 46 requires members can converse but not loud, and Rule 47 that shouldn't interrupt a member who is speaking except for a point of order. The secretary read the order.
Debate on budget vote number 34, Science and Technology Appropriation Bill.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Pando. To the podium.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, honorable members, Minister Peters. Chairperson, today we celebrate 20 years of freedom and positive progress in advancing science and innovation in the technology and science sector. Some of our many successes include advances in research into HIV/AIDS prevention and treatment, the building of satellite, winning the right to co-host the iconic square kilometer array, discoveries in paleontology, progress with alternative research technologies, advances in fluorochemicals technology for improved service delivery. Through investing in research and development and innovation, the ANC has made a significant contribution to meeting our triple challenges of poverty, inequality, and joblessness. The ANC won the last election on a manifesto that included a commitment to increase investment in research and development to 1.5% of GDP in this term of government. The ANC was the only political party to make such a commitment. This signaled our belief that science and technology will play a prominent role in the radical socio-economic transformation of South Africa. We are, Chairperson and honorable members, emboldened by the science and technology objectives outlined in the National Development Plan, and believe that the report we'll present to you today clearly signals that Vision 2030 is achievable. Our budget appropriation for 2014-15 is 6.47 billion rand. The largest portion of our budget, 3.5 billion, is allocated to research and development. Of this, 1.7 billion rand is to be spent on research grants and bursaries. And in terms of guidelines I've provided, we will focus on the following transformation targets over the MTEF period, and these will be overseen by the NRF and will lead to increasing the ratio of Black to total researchers from 28% in 2013-14 to 40% in 2016-17. The ratio of female to total researchers from 36% in 2013-14 to 50% in 16-17. The ratio of Black to total graduate students funded from 63% in 13-14 to 71% in 16-17. The ratio of female to total postgraduate students funded from 53% in 13-14 to 55% in 16-17. The NDP sets a target of 100,000 PhDs by 2030 to improve research and innovation capacity in our country. In order to reach this target, we need to train 6,000 PhDs per annum. We now produce just over 1,800 PhDs per year. To train 6,000 a year will cost us an additional 5.8 billion rand. We hope honorable members will monitor that government makes these resources available to us so that we meet the objectives of the NDP. Our problem, however, is that we lack research supervision capacity and the doctoral student pipeline is far too narrow. We need to support researchers who are capable of supervising postgraduate students as well as to create incentives for students to remain in the system up to the doctoral level. We've recently begun investing in emerging researchers through postdoctoral fellowships through the Tutuka program and research career advancement fellowships. In order to attract young people to science, we will invest 497 million over the next 3 years in implementing a coordinated approach to science education, science awareness, and science communication. The programs run through the South African Agency for Science and Technology Advancement intend to reach about 350,000 learners and around 13,000 teachers per annum. Our recent review of the NRF indicated the need to reconsider the location and funding model for SASTA. We need a model that will allow SASTA to scale up public engagement and science awareness activities, and we will announce our approach in this regard very soon. We also have an internship program which has supported youth development and employment. Between 2012 and 2014, 1,341 unemployed graduates were exposed to work opportunities in science, engineering, and technology institutions. Of these 1,341, 58% were absorbed into permanent employment in the same institutions. Others have found employment in other science institutions. Our department has allocated in this financial year 80 million rand to fund 1,000 science postgraduates in our internship program. You're supposed to clap at that. Our South African Research Chairs Initiative, one of our department's flagship programs, has a total of 157 awarded chairs, 128 of which have been filled. Of these, 73% were recruited in South Africa, 21% are women, and 28% are Black. We intend to create an additional 20 research chairs. The initiative has contributed to the transformation of the system, Chairperson, by increasing the number of Black and female researchers. Since its inception, the number of Black postgraduate students has increased by 400%, and the number of female postgraduate students by 450%. In this year, we intend to spend 451 million rand on the SARCI chairs. We have also established centers of excellence to promote interdisciplinary disciplinary collaboration in research excellence. We now have 14 centers, and investment in them has increased at an average of 20% a year since 2010-11. We're exploring a further 3 centers, one in HIV and AIDS research, another in human settlements research, and a third in water research. All of these will be established in collaboration with the relevant government departments, and we're very excited at this emerging partnership. We've also established centers of excellence to promote interdisciplinary collaboration in research excellence. For example, I wish to refer to the South African Center for Epidemiological Modeling and Analysis, SAKIMA. It focuses on research in quantitative modeling of disease, with a strong focus on relevance to public health policy. The policy to circumcise men to reduce HIV infections was a consequence of a SAKIMA research project. The Center of Excellence on TB pioneered the use of molecular methods to characterize M. tuberculosis strains, and these techniques are now being used throughout Africa to gain insight into the mechanisms driving the epidemic. There are now 14 centers, and investment in them has been substantial. To enable our country to compete globally in science, technology, and innovation, it's important to provide world-class infrastructure for research and development. One of these world-class institutions is Itemba Labs. Itemba Labs is the only facility on the African continent that provides accelerator-based radioisotopes for nuclear medicine, and also, honorable members, the only facility in Africa for specialist cancer treatment using protons and neutrons. This treatment is offered to those who have cancers that do not respond to traditional treatments like chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Patients that are referred by state hospitals are treated free of charge, and over the past 25 years, some 1,800 patients have been treated. We also, in terms of infrastructure, continue to make progress on the Meerkat project, for which 647 million is allocated in this financial year, as well as in building our global partnerships for square kilometer array. We are preparing for the huge amounts of data that will be produced by the Meerkat as well as the square kilometer array. This will allow us to play a leading role in big data. Welcome, Minister Hanekom. We believe South Africa can become a global leader in this area of big data management if we make the right interventions now. I'm pleased to announce that many students have been awarded grants through the SKA scholarship program. The success rate of the program has been extremely high, with 36 doctoral degrees, 95 master's degrees, 59 honors degrees, 58 BSc and B engineering degrees, and 16 national diplomas awarded to scholarship recipients. I'm also pleased that the SKA is supporting the training of artisans and has awarded 42 bursaries to students from the Karoo, 16 of whom are already employed by SKA South Africa after completing their training. The global SKA project, honorable members, is growing. India is expected to become a full member of the SKA organization soon, joining an alliance of countries that are currently investing close to 2 billion rand in design and other preparatory work. Our partners in Australia, Canada, China, Italy, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Sweden, and the United Kingdom are all firmly committed to the SKA, and we will be working hard to bring in other global partners. Compared to other large-scale research infrastructure projects of its kind, I think the progress of the SKA is remarkable, and I know Minister Hanekom will agree. This is, of course, in no small measure due to South African leadership on this project, as well as know-how that has been built in the country. I think Dr. Bernie Vanneroff and Professor Jonas and their team continue to do us proud and should be congratulated on this. We are also working hard, honorable members, to make real the African Very Long Baseline Interferometry Network, the AVN. We are rolling it out, and it will involve our 8 SKA African partner countries. Through the AVN program, SKA South Africa, in partnership with the Hartebeespoort Radio Astronomy Observatory, has also trained scientists and engineers from Ghana and Kenya, 13 of whom have spent 6 months to a year in South Africa. The program will continue to assist them with further training in their home countries and will help them to train more technicians and scientists in their home countries. Our astronomy partnerships have extended to partnerships with China, India, the Netherlands, the UK, as well as the United States of America. We've been very pleased to welcome leading global astronomers, such as Professor Russ Taylor, to our country, taking up positions under the South African Research Chairs program, attracted by our commitment to and investment in science. We are becoming a preferred destination, not only for global research infrastructure, but also for global research talent. Our National Space Agency receives 118 million rand this year. It provides valuable Earth observation data to enable informed decisions by government departments and public entities. SANSA continues to provide state-of-the-art ground station services to many globally recognized space missions, such as the NASA and Indian Space Research Organization Mars missions, and NASA's orbiting Carbon Observatory 2, which is giving scientists a better idea of how carbon is contributing to climate change, answering important questions about precisely where carbon is coming from and where it is stored. We have reorganized our programs within the department to give greater emphasis to technology. There had always been concerns that we are doing more science investment and very little technology investment, although we are the Department of Science and Technology. We've now reordered ourselves, and we have a program called Technology Innovation, which this year has a budget of 991 million rand. Its main agency is the Technology Innovation Agency. We aim to reposition TIA as an agency whose funding instruments will enable entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprises to commercialize their technology innovations. Since 2010, TIA has disbursed a total of 1.2 billion rand on project contracts and grants. The agency has supported close to 6,838 small and medium enterprises in accelerating technical innovation through technological development at a cost of 286 million. The services provided by TIA have enabled enterprises to be more competitive and productive. We've also funded through TIA the placement of 501 interns in various sectors, including at offices of technology transfer and in venture capital companies. A few examples illustrate TIA's contribution to innovation. Through TIA, we supported Future Fynbos, a company that focuses on the selection and breeding of indigenous fynbos. It has shipped its first commercial harvest, with 600,355 units sold in the local market and 10,000 units in the European Union. TIA also made a significant contribution to the University of Cape Town's H3D Center, which is Africa's first modern integrated drug discovery and development center. It has, over the past 4 years, had remarkable success, delivering the first clinical drug candidate to come from Africa. Additional funding of 55 million rand was leveraged from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to support tuberculosis and malaria drug development programs. The center also received over 5 million rand from the Wilson Foundation toward infrastructure improvement. I would like today to congratulate another technologist, Marilise Holzhausen, who I believe is in the gallery. Her rapid response cell phone app won the internationally renowned 2014 Google Fest pitching competition for technology entrepreneurs. Is she here? There she is. Her participation in this contest was supported under the Swiss South Africa Business Development Program, an example of our thriving portfolio of international partnerships. And I thank our Swiss partners for their support in this successful initiative. Other finalists from South Africa who were in the top 5 were Drew van der Riet, working on advanced prosthetics, and I met him this morning, and Gavin Jones, who represented a University of Cape Town project on the rehabilitation of stroke patients. Our support for research and development work in clean coal technologies through the Carbon Capture and Storage Chair at the South African National Energy Development Institute, Minister Peters, is bearing fruit. The Colgate TM initiative, part of our DST-funded biofuels program at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, will in this financial year look to find partners to upscale the semi-commercial pilot plant and also to find potential investors for the commercialization of this technology. Welcome, Minister Sisulu. Another success is the photovoltaic technology intellectual property, a solar energy spin-off company from the University of Johannesburg, which was started in 2013 with the successful leadership of Minister Hanekom. PITIP, as we call it, is in collaboration with a German-listed company, Singulus. They manufacture photovoltaic thin films, and they're one of the very few global companies that are using copper, indium, gallium selenide. Honorable members, in science you have to learn to pronounce. The DST is working closely with private sector partners to ensure the full commercialization of the plant and the creation of jobs for the human capital being developed in various institutions. This will be a huge contribution to government's mandate of tackling poverty, inequality, and joblessness. As honorable members and chairperson can see, South Africa, through the DST, is fast becoming a preferred partner for research and innovation funding partnerships with international foundations. I believe that more funding should be available to the Technology Innovation Agency to fund commercialization, as we do not as yet have a dynamic, risk-taking venture capital culture in South Africa. We are grateful to all our partners for the support that they give to our scientists and technologists. In 2012, honorable members may recall we announced the launch of the DST Technology Top 100 internship program, which was aimed at placing unemployed science, technology, and engineering graduates in high-level technology companies. I'm happy to report that the program has, over the last 2 years, expenditure on research and development. Recently, the CSIR adopted water sustainability and safety and security as areas of integrated research and innovation. These join their 6 already established research impact fields of industry, built environment, health, natural environment, defense and security, as well as energy. The Human Sciences Research Council continues to improve on its reputation as a public entity providing excellent social science research in a range of fields, from looking at reducing poverty to improving education, from improving gender relations to fighting HIV and AIDS. Our International Cooperation and Resources Program receives 119 million rand, which is just not enough, to promote relationships with global partners, leverage foreign investment in South African science and technology, afford training opportunities for our researchers abroad, and enable cooperation to allow us to share in international experience and expertise. In the 2013 financial year, through science diplomacy and smart co-investments, we were able to leverage and secure 253 million rand in addition to our own budget in science, technology, and innovation funds from international partners. This included a substantial partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in the health, water, and sanitation domains, and a dedicated program with the European Union harnessing innovation for poverty alleviation. I hope honorable members will visit our exhibition in the gardens and have a look at some of the work this investment is doing. In the next 5 years, we intend to prioritize support through cooperation with international partners for science, technology, and innovation capacity building on the African continent. African heads of state have adopted an ambitious continental framework for science, technology, and innovation for Africa, and we wish to be at the forefront of implementing this strategy. We will step up our efforts to make South Africa a preferred destination for foreign investment in science, technology, and innovation. We would like to encourage international companies to locate their research and development facilities to our country, South Africa. For example, General Electric recently announced a 500 million investment in a customer innovation center to be built in Gauteng, which will assist in developing the company's global technology platforms for local market needs, as well as a further 200 million they will provide to support South African small and medium enterprises, notably through technology transfer.
You have 1 minute,
I would
Minister.
like, in closing, to express my sincere appreciation to my very new and wonderful Deputy Minister, Magwaza Msibi, and thank her for her support and comradeship, to Dr. Fulham Jwaha, our Director General of Science and Technology, who must be one of the longest serving Directors General in the country, as well as the staff, all the DDGs, directors, chief directors, for their hard work and commitment to making a difference in addressing poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Thanks as well to my hardworking staff in the ministry for their hard work and support, Carmen, Anne, Rob, everybody. Likewise, I thank the Portfolio Committee on science and technology for the work they've begun to do and wish them well in their work in this new 5-year term. I also wish to thank my family who are present with us today for their support and understanding.
Honourable
As
Minister.
the Department of Science and
Honourable
Technology, we
Minister.
conclude by saying we remain committed to taking South Africa forward by using science, technology, and innovation for socio-economic growth and transformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. I will call Lungelson Pegile Kokwan.
Thank you, Chairperson. The ministers that are here, deputy ministers, members of parliament, the department led by Mr. Mchwaka, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to go and see what's happening in the Botanic Garden.
But if you can speak to the mic, you.
Oh, okay. Am I too short? I was asked to go and see the exhibition center in the Botanic Gardens. It's very surprising. I would repeat what the minister has said, that people should go there. And my speech is going to be slanting towards removing the myth of thinking that science is a difficult subject or it's a difficult department to deal with. Ladies and gentlemen, Chairperson, I owe my being to the valleys and hills of Cinco, springs and rivers of Nomtambo. This is where I came to be told, umlungu mdala wafaka inhlanzi etotini ivaliwe. This is where I was told a person was suffering from severe hemoptysis from TB, ukhatywe impundulu. This is where my origins are from. This is where I learned and I started to ask myself hard questions as to why and hows. Little did I know that whys and hows were the gateway to science and technology. Chairperson, honorable members, life is dynamic. The dynamism of life is dependent on human capital. Human capital transforms and improves our economy when they know science and technology and they are innovative. The more investment is made on human capital, the more scientists will be produced, and the more scientists, the more innovations, and the more innovations, the more will be positive impact on economy of our country, the better the lives of our people. As a country, we can have internal innovations which will better the spin-off for the country when, as compared to when exported. If we do not develop our human capital to be innovative, we'll depend on external innovators with no noticeable spin-offs to the economy and development of our country. Chairperson, I'm trying to illustrate the importance of science and technology and human capital for our country. Thus far, the investment by South Africa in developing scientists has been asymmetrical. People living in rural areas and peri-urban areas do not get the same exposure to science and technology as urban dwellers, with the result that there's minimal, if any, contribution to science and technology from those areas. Chairperson, let me congratulate the Minister and the Deputy Minister on being appointed to lead this Department of Science and Technology. Minister Pando, it's evident that you are passionate about your department. Your display of this kind of passion makes things happen, even with scarcity of resources. Were it not for the passion, the department may not have moved forward. I'm sure we know, all of us, that you might have resources, but if you don't have passion, nothing will happen. You might not have resources, but if you've got passions, things might happen. We have not yet met the entities that take up 92% of your budget, the budget of just above 7 billion rands. but we have met with the officials led by Dr. Mchwaka of your department. We have given us their plans for the current year. As ANC, we accept this budget. For the future, we're looking at the department being awarded a budget of at least 1.5 of the GDP, because we want more internal innovations than external innovations. We would like to see the country transformed to be symmetrical in production of science and technology graduates that will bring innovation. Chair, the vision of the African National Congress government to put science and technology at the forefront of developing this country was manifested when a mere directorate was transformed to a present Department of Science and Technology. The ANC government did this understanding how science and technology is central and transversal in transforming the lives of our people. Well done, African National Congress. There's no better transformation of the country without science and technology and innovations. South Africa has got SKA, which puts us on the global map. Interestingly, when I went to the Botanic Gardens, I was told that SANSA is looking at the world from outside. SKA is looking at the world from the earth towards it, which was very interesting, which I found there. This has not only improved the lives of our people in the Northern Cape, the innovation and development has made people see science and technology as a subject that can interrogate and understand. We have also seen other pilot projects such as the one in Kofimvaba with all the enthusiasm in learners, teachers, and communities. Equal appreciation goes to organizations of science week usually held in Grahamstown on annual basis. We've seen indigenous knowledge being brought to the fore by this department in KZN, Eastern Cape, and so forth, with centers of excellence. As a department moves forward, they should also work on strategy of how they handle the existing industries in the field of science and technology who might not welcome the emergence of new innovations and see this as a competition that threatens their monopoly in those industries. Help them not to see emerging innovators as a threat, but as an opportunity for working in collaboration to better the lives of our people and the country as a whole. In short period of time, the Department of Science and Technology has been in existence. We've seen the number of doctoral graduates with science field increasing to include even graduates from rural areas. We would like to see a number of scientists from rural and peri-urban areas increase to make this transformation more symmetrical. I must confess, Minister, I think there are members in the committee that have said they're going to be, especially those that are coming from rural areas, they want to do post-doctoral degrees with the funding that is going to come from Mr. Mchwaka, the members of parliament. So in 5 years, we'll have more doctors coming from the portfolio committee. Chairperson, Madam Minister, and Deputy Minister, there is a lot already being done by the department, but the road ahead is still very long. This does not come as a surprise when you consider that the African National Congress government has been in existence for only 20 years, which cannot be compared to the 300 years that people were starved of information just because God gave them a higher melanin in their skin. As we will be doing oversight work, interacting with committees, and transforming the laws when necessary as a committee, we accept and support this budget. The perception most people have about science is that it is difficult and complicated, and I want to expel this myth and ask the people regard it differently. If you can ask why and how questions, you can see that it is not difficult to understand. Being able to say why and how is a gateway to science and technology and innovation. Universities will be monitored by this committee, not only to check whether they are maintaining and lifting up the standards, but also to produce more scientists with the funding available to them, or even argue for more funding if necessary. Since the department is transversal in their function, there might be competition, even overlap of projects with other departments that can cause success and achievements to stall and hinder process, resulting in delay in transformation. Good intergovernmental working relationships will help a lot to facilitate this progress. We have not done much in promoting indigenous knowledge, especially in the knowledge coming from rural and peri-urban areas, classified unsuitable as traditional knowledge. I always ask myself a question: isn't this term traditional not derogatory, but in making one to feel inferior? I want to compare a situation where my king is called a traditional leader, but if you go to Britain, the queen is not called a traditional leader. It's called a monarch. Now, isn't that time for it to be changed to something else? I think it's something that we need to debate, whether we should call ourselves traditional leaders, traditional medicines, traditional this, whereas in other areas, they are not called. It's only those who colonized us that called us traditional. It is necessary and urgent to investigate and assess indigenous knowledge submitted is safe to use and possesses no threat to environment and security to our country. New innovations must do no harm. Existing industries should not be threatened and must not be allowed to block emergency of newcomers because the scope of science and technology is too wide. People can work together for the betterment of the country. I emphasize that new innovations, including the indigenous knowledge, should do no harm. It is acceptable that there are people who engage in ritual killings because they are looking for solutions to problems. When people begin to ask why and how questions, they would not be misled into committing acts of crime. I know where I come from, as I mentioned, that when I was young, there was an old man who was called to Qesibe. He was very respected. Then he started drooling saliva in his mouth. He started shaking. It was difficult for him to walk. It was difficult for him to talk. But his mind was so well. He was very brilliant. But a lot of people were killed because it was said he was bewitched. When I became old and I started to do my profession, it was very easy to know that and ask questions. It was very easy to understand that that person had Parkinson's disease, which is something that can be controlled. And nobody needed to be killed because of the condition that he developed. And these are the myths that probably we need to bring to the fore. It is obvious that in developed and developing countries, science is the cornerstone of innovation, knowledge, economic booster, and developer of human capital. Scientists need to be passionate, objective, honest, and neutral. They need to protect us from evil, work with unbiased humility, defining humility as somebody who will make sure that you become patient when you've got nothing, and a good attitude when you've got it all. And understand that many people of the country still have to learn a lot. Chairperson, Madam Minister, Deputy Minister, the country belongs to the future generations. As we work tirelessly in the department to advance science and technology, be aware that you are growing trees whose shade you will never sit in. And let's develop our science not to destroy our continent, for it belongs to the future generations. On behalf of the ANC, we accept and support this budget. I want to thank the committee, the new committee, for their enthusiasm and the question that they ask. It shows that they understand how important science and technology is. We must thank your department, Minister, for helping us and making sure that we got all the information that we needed, except that we haven't met the entities, which are many, and they're taking the biggest part of this. But we're looking forward to a situation where we're going to be meeting them, especially the big one that gets the biggest amount of money, the CSIR. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kotwana. Leloko le Khabane lo treat. Before she comes, as you come, I just want to say to the public, you're not supposed to participate, so don't laugh. Sorry about that. Thank you, Honorable Doctor.
Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Minister, Deputy Minister, the National Development Plan states that science and technology are key to development because technological and scientific revolutions underpin economic advances, improvements in health systems, education and infrastructure. It is thus reassuring, Minister, that following your appointment and also today, you made it clear that you and your department are committed to the National Development Plan. This is an important commitment as the NDP explicitly views science and technology as one of the key drivers of change. The NDP states that science and technology are the differentiators between countries that are able to tackle poverty effectively by growing and developing their economies and those that are not. This is of crucial importance to our country. It further indicates that the extent to which developing economies emerge as economic powerhouses depends on their ability to grasp and apply insights from science and technology and use them creatively. Innovation is the primary driver of technological growth and drives higher living standards. So, Minister, if one takes your commitment to the NDP as well as the successes of your department, which you have mentioned this morning, and we have to congratulate you on that, the impression is that all is well in the world of science and technology in South Africa. However, Minister, the sad reality is that science and technology does not seem to be a very important portfolio according to the government, and not an important portfolio to give effect to the NDP. And I say this because we can look at, for example, the consolidated spending by functional and economic classification of the 2014 budget. Science and technology and environmental affairs are afforded the second smallest cut of the budget, with the third smallest receiving more than triple the amount. If we look at what countries spend on research and development, we see that the global average is 1.77% of the GDP. The average for Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development countries is in the range of 2.4%. Countries such as South Korea spend in the region of 4% of their GDP. Our BRICS partners, Russia spends 1.16, China 1.77, and Brazil 1.16. Now, unfortunately, our country's spend is still below 1%. It stood at 0.76% in the 2010-11 year, down from 0.87% in the previous year. And year after year, it seems that reaching the 1%, and you alluded to the 1.5%, Minister, is becoming more and more elusive. The expenditure on R&D as percentage is critical to economic growth, as according to estimates by the OECD, a 1% increase in the ratio of R&D investment to GDP raises economic activity by 1.2%. And the challenge to give effect to the role that science and technology should and can play in the country's growth is further compromised by the number of factors, as can be seen from a comparative analysis done by the OECD. South Africa is below, and in certain instances far below, the OECD median in terms of public and business expenditure on R&D, our ranking in the top 500 universities, trademarks, ease of entrepreneurship, availability of broadband, networks, e-government readiness, patents filed by universities and public labs, international co-authorship and co-patenting, adult population at tertiary education level, and doctorates in science and technology. This does not augur well for the future development of science and technology. From this, one can only conclude that this department is undervalued and underfunded. And this is even more worrying in the context of the level of irregular spending and waste in other departments. Without substantial growth in science and technology research and application, very few, if any, of the goals of the National Development Plan can be achieved. Although it is extremely important that policies focus on the development of professional human resource capacity, as you have indicated, Minister, policies and strategies focused on innovation management and the execution and application of innovation must not be neglected. This is where innovation and design translate into job creation. A prime example in this regard is that of South Korea. I've indicated they spend 4% of their GDP on R&D, and they have focused their efforts on innovation and product development. This resulted in the country moving from the 5th poorest country in the world in 1960 to the 11th wealthiest today, and an unemployment figure of 2.9%. Minister, it is important that the downward trend of expenditure on R&D be halted. In this regard, the recommendations related to financing the NSI contained in the ministerial review are of importance. Every effort should be made to increase public and business expenditure on research and development. However, if one looks at recommendation 40, which states that the potential of local firms, higher education institutions, and science councils to recruit high-level staff from other countries should be facilitated and optimized through appropriate legislation and regulation, it is clear that the latest immigration regulations issued by this government will have the exact opposite effect. Minister, this is a matter that you should perhaps take up with the Minister of Home Affairs if we want to attract high-level skills to this country. Given the importance of innovation for the economic growth of the country, it is worrying that the entity that should be the pivot in the process has been beset with problems. And I'm referring to the Technology Innovation Agency, TIA. Minister, we welcome the swift actions taken following the findings of the forensic investigation. And although it is hoped that the dismissal of the CEO and the CFO will go some way in solving the problems at the TIA, there are still many problems that were highlighted in the review of the entity. One of these being different views on what the actual mandate of the agency is, and this should be addressed as a matter of urgency. It is also important that the Portfolio Committee be informed of the progress of and any problems at the agency, and it is therefore unfortunate that in a reply to a parliamentary question earlier this year, the Minister then indicated that there were no plans to present the forensic report on TIA to Parliament. Now, despite the problems experienced by TIA, and you also alluded to how extremely important TIA will be, it is worrying that the department will reduce expenditure on transfers and subsidies to the agency. Transfers to the agency are projected to decrease by 30 million in 2014-15 and 15 million in the following years. Given the goal of TIA to use South Africa's science and technology base to develop new industries, create sustainable jobs, and help diversify the economy, cuts in its budget is not what the country needs now. An aspect I also find quite surprising is that there is no real system or process of tracking the actual results of the investment the department makes. And I'm not referring to, for example, the number of patents or published articles or number of students, but whether any funded patents lead to job creation or determining whether it had any impact on society by creating jobs, alleviating poverty, improving living conditions. The same goes for tracking postgraduate students who have benefited from bursaries and grants. Where are these students working, except for the internships that you refer to, or are they making a contribution to the science, technology, and innovation sector? Are they, in fact, still in the country? When I asked this question in a Portfolio Committee meeting, I was informed by the department that they are now looking at developing such tracking instruments, which is, of course, to be welcomed. But why is it only happening now? After 20 years, we are not quite sure what the exact return on our science and technology investment is. Chairperson, the following are a few aspects that the DA would like to propose that one would focus on in science and technology to grow the economy and create jobs. Focus must be on an innovation and design system that turns ideas into marketable products, services, and process improvements. There must be greater coordination between entities, and maybe one should consider merging the Department of Higher Education and Training and the Department of Science and Technology, because there are so many points of cooperation there. And then also establishing a National Council on Research and Innovation to take responsibility of major funding allocations and also
you have 1 minute
to create greater cooperation. Simplify the funding landscape for research-driven innovation. a more flexible system of immigration. And then, Minister, in conclusion, you have a department that performs well. There are many success stories, wonderful achievement, and world-class scientists and researchers. We can indeed be proud of what we have achieved in the field of science and technology. The big challenge now is to move this department from being undervalued and underfunded to being funded, acknowledged, and valued as the vanguard of the NDP, the catalyst in making us an economic powerhouse, and importantly, as the key driver in moving from poverty to prosperity. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Lotrit. Ilunga Hlonipheke Lukhoza.
Honorable Chair, Minister, Deputy Minister, not much is really being done in South Africa involving ordinary people as far as technology is concerned. There is no strategic focus on the side of the department to empower ordinary people on the ground as well as women and youth. What the department is failing to do is to expand infrastructure in terms of technological access to the previously disadvantaged people of our country. The previously disadvantaged people of South Africa should have access to Wi-Fi, especially in the rural areas, to really give them opportunities in terms of making their lives easy. A lot of money is spent on leased infrastructure like Cisco routers, costing millions of rands. We need a rollout of microwave wireless technology which is cost-effective and efficient. From a disaster risk management and business continuity perspective, the business and government have succumbed to and accepted the risk of relying solely on the telecom terrestrial infrastructure. What would happen if telecom were to be attacked? The entire country would fall on its knees. We need a wireless satellite redundant line for the country. In particular, the crucial infrastructure to be defined in terms of the Crucial Infrastructure Bill. There is a serious need to establish the Institute of Science and Technology for the benefit of our people in terms of expanding their accessibility to technological world. It is really worrying that science and technology is not really practical in terms of imparting practical knowledge that is sustainable into the future. At the moment, there is too much reliance on the textbook, and there is no laboratories and technological devices in schools to give learners skill and capacity on the usage of these tools. This, we believe, has the potential to make their lives easy. It is not possible that one can read a driver's learners, and then after reading it, you expect him to be able to drive a car without being taught how to drive a car. There is a serious need for practical involvement with technology, and this is not happening at the moment. The Department of Science and Technology is not providing our people with opportunities and platform to engage practically with technology. There are many young people out there who are innovative in terms of technology with the social networks, but they are not getting enough support from the department. The typical example of Stuart Nhlati from Klerksdorp. From the age of 13, he has been encouraging young South Africans to participate in the development of science and technology in South Africa. He started the Stuart Nhlati Science, Engineering and Technology Institute, where his innovations have positively impacted on the lives of our people. We need such. There are no proper support structures from the side of the department to assist these young people to progress even further. The fact of the matter is that the department is not accessible to the people of South Africa on the ground. Our view as EFF is that technology should be about ordinary people. The department should expand the utilization of technology as means of teaching. The Free State has the highest matric pass rate in the country precisely because of the pilot program that it started with the University of the Free State of utilizing technology as a way of teaching science and technology. The department must coordinate industrial processes of technology, of technological goods and services. We need to develop local capacity to produce technological goods like TVs and cellular phones. Innovations should be serious, should be taken seriously by the department because we cannot buy electronic devices from all over the world when our people have the capacity to can produce such. The reason why Samsung is successful is precisely because of the support that it was given by the South Korean government. As EFF, we propose the following. Technology should be on the ground for accessibility, especially to the people in rural areas. There is an urgent need for the support of innovative young people and women in areas of science and technology. Build more science and technology institutes to expand on the skill and knowledge. Build local capacity for the production of technological goods and services. And we need a wireless satellite, as I've said earlier on. We need a wireless satellite redundant line for the country, in particular the crucial infrastructure to be defined in terms of the due crucial infrastructure bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Koza. Lungelson Pegile Kubis.
It is based on these reasons that I've mentioned that as EFF, we are not supporting the budget.
Chairperson, I did not want to sink into the hype of not supporting the budget. Thank you, Chairperson, Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister, Honorable members. The National Freedom Party welcomes and supports the budget for 34. The NFP acknowledges the fact that this budget, like that of the previous one, is premised on the 1996 White Paper on Science and Technology and the National Development Plan. The NDP considers science, technology, and innovation to be key aspects of the South African development agenda. The budget is based on a strong paradigm shift from just emphasis on science and technology or mathematics to science, technology, and innovation. The NFP subscribes to the notion that science and technology is crucial to equitable economic growth because advances in these fields underpin economic advances and improvements in education, health systems, and all infrastructure. Science and technology should advance the standard of life, not to assist humankind to produce weapons of mass destruction like it is happening in Gaza. And while the country and the world is still mourning the death of scientists and researchers, including our South African pilot, who died when a flight was shot down in Ukraine, but the killing of innocent civilians in Gaza is abominable and despicable. And the NFP calls upon Israel to allow peace a chance so that we negotiate towards a settlement that will bring about peace. The NFP wants to reiterate a major basic and crucial fact that it is inculcate science and technology in children when they are still young. Start at preschool. The curriculum should embrace science and technology, maths, engineering, and all forms of innovative systems, including but not limited to computer technology. This gives a chance to our children to be creators of knowledge, and we therefore call upon a well-coordinated strategy between this department and the Department of Basic Education. Investment in centers of excellence is therefore a welcome exercise. The NFP is of the opinion that we can still do more and improve and increase graduates and students in departmental funded work preparation programs in scientific engineering and technological institutions over the medium term. Let us therefore do more than placing about 1,000 graduates in departmental funded work program. We can do more, Honorable Minister, and we still have a chance. The NFP therefore will support this budget And we believe that together we can still do more and work hard to place technology at the local level. Niyeke ukumemeza ngoba nisala kanjalo ke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kubisa. Lungelo hloniphekile kuphindile kaNgqongqoshe. Magwaza umsi.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Minister of the Department of Science and Technology, Honorable Pando, Honorable Ministers who are here with us, Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, especially Dr. Mjwaha and all the staff members from the department. I would like to echo Minister Pando's assertion about the importance of science and technology in realizing the goals of the National Development Plan. The NDP proposed some broad focus areas for the national system of innovation and its actors, including the use of knowledge and innovative products to compete in international trade. Obviously, innovation should also improve existing industries and help new industries to lower the cost of doing business in the private sector. The department and its entities had a number of successes in the 2013-2014 financial year. The National Recordal System for Indigenous Knowledge System was launched in Moruleng in the Northwest, and the first international conference on IKS held in Gauteng. Between 2009-2010, more than 30 million rands was invested in supporting 25 applied IKS research projects. The 2 IKS research chairs supported 12 PhDs, 31 master's degrees, and 40 honors degrees. Through the information and communication technology for rural education and development project, 700 tablets and mobile kits were handed out this year to learners, teachers and district officials in about 12 schools. It is anticipated that a further 2,440 tablets will be handed out again this year. The wireless... I thought you were saying something. I was awaiting for you to complete. The Wireless Mesh Network Initiative was extended to schools in the Northern Cape through the South African National Research Network. A total of 173 research and educational sites have been connected with high-speed broadband, ranging from a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 10 gigabits per second. The bioeconomy strategy was launched, and its implementation plan will be finalized this year. We also celebrated the 75th anniversary of the discovery of the coelacanth off the coast of South Africa. This major scientific discovery remains a wonderful story of change, dedication, the geographic advantage of the country, and a great depth of scientific knowledge. Honorable members, Honorable Chairperson, the development knowledge is at the root of country's innovation system. As we move South Africa forward towards a knowledge economy, we should be mindful that research is no longer performed solely within the walls of large institutions or corporations. Collaboration is a new and important source of competitive advantage. Interactions between diverse actors have increased the possibility of research outcomes that are more relevant to the users of that knowledge. It is therefore important that our scientists and researchers continue to collaborate with their counterparts all over the world. Science, after all, is an international enterprise. We need to ensure that science, technology, and innovation contribute to socio-economic development in line with the call by the President for the radical transformation of South Africa, addressing the triple challenge of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. To move the country towards a knowledge economy, we need to invest massively in research infrastructure and human capital development. Our minister is very passionate about this, transforming science, technology, and innovation so that historically disadvantaged communities become active participants in this sector. Infrastructure for research and development. The presence of the South African Astronomical Observatory in the Karoo town of Sutherland has benefited the area enormously in terms of both science, tourism, and education. The observatory supports the local community through teaching of maths, science at secondary schools level. A fully equipped community center built 2 years ago is used to teach learners and adults computer literacy. Global infrastructure like the SAO, together with Meerkat and the Square Kilometre Array, are also making a meaningful contribution to science tourism. The SAAO also hosts the International Astronomy Union Office of Astronomy for Development. Linked to astronomy, the Department of Science and Technology, in collaboration with the Department of Public Enterprise, the state-owned company, Broadband Infracom, has invested more than 600 million rands in the acquisition of broadband capacity on the West Africa cable system. This will support the work of the Meerkat and SKA to retain South Africa's well-recognized global status in the field of space and astronomy. In the 2014-15 financial year, more than 200 sites across the country will be connected to international research networks, hosting over 3,000 research and education institutions all over the world. Currently, there are close to 1 million users of the Sunrun network daily. By the end of MTEF period, the DST will have invested 600 million rands on the acquisition of additional international broadband connectivity. I think that answers my brother from the EFF. In the MTEF period, the DST will also establish a national integrated cyber infrastructure system to put in place the best operational, management, and governance structure and the most sustainable business model. Our continued investment in the Center for High Performance Computing is yielding positive results with regard to human capital development in the area of scarce skills. The CHPC has more than 500 users and has twice been listed among the top 500 supercomputers in the world. South African students won the International Supercomputing Conference in Germany last year and this year. The CHPC has been accredited as a member of the International SK Science Data Processing Consortium, demonstrating the center's footprint in the international community and recognizing the country's capability to participate in international projects. Indigenous knowledge system. I'm trying to answer the chairperson of the portfolio committee. The African Union recognizes the essential nature of African knowledge system in holistic development of the continent. And South Africa actively supports the preservation, protection, and development of indigenous knowledge system. The country has more than 300,000 traditional health practitioners, and there are approximately 5,000 medicinal plant species on the African continent, as well as many different minerals, animals, reptiles, and insects with potential health or economic benefits. South Africa has the modern scientific innovation capacity to develop African traditional medicines, and with the traditional healing sector estimated to be worth $4 billion US. It is important that government ensures the use of South Africa's biodiversity to address poverty, inequality, and unemployment. Both the Technology Innovation Agency and the South African Bureau of Standards are contributing towards the modernization and commercialization of African traditional medicines. The DST is in the process of facilitating commercialization agreements on nutraceutical candidate products in the Nestle and on cosmeceutical candidates with L'Oreal, anti-hair loss, and anti-wrinkle products developed are being licensed to 2 private sector companies. I hope women will be happy with this. More than 300 community members were trained in
1 minute left, Honourable Member.
Oh, gosh, thank you very much. I will move to research, water, energy, and health in education, and also in education. In support of the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform's Comprehensive Rural Development Program, the DST will, in 2014-15, pilot innovative alternative service delivery options for water resource management and wastewater treatment. We ask for this department and also to thank all members and the staff members from the department. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Ilungu elihloniphekileyo, LM Maseko.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister on Science and Technology, all other ministers and deputy ministers here present, honorable members of this August House, Director General of Science and Technology, Senior Management, stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is indeed a great pleasure and privilege to be part of this interesting debate on science, technology, and innovation, which areas are the cornerstone and basis for humankind. It is this basis that prompted the African National Congress in its 50th National Congress to resolve and call upon the government to ensure that the program and efforts to restructure the country's science and technology infrastructure should benefit the poor and rural areas. The ANC's 1992 Ready to Govern document noted that the use of technology can enhance human potential and improve the quality of life for all citizens of South Africa, thereby helping to achieve the broader socio-economic goal of a democratic country. Advances in science and technology cannot be achieved unless grounded in sound education and research policies, which have as their aim the maximum utilization of the full potential of all human resources in our country, and which allow for creativity in scientific and technological research and design. To achieve these ends, South Africa requires a healthy, indigenous, and appropriate technological base, which is founded upon the widest possible access to programs of education and training in scientific and technical fields at all levels, relevant, publicly accountable and efficient research and development, selective application of new technologies, especially in the areas of microelectronics, information technology, biotechnology, new materials and medical technologies, industrial reorientation and restructuring to strengthen the manufacturing base, the interrogation of trade unions and other relevant organs of civil society into the decision-making processes. In the last 20 years, through significant investment in science and technology and innovation, South Africa has achieved breakthroughs in nuclear technology, astronomy, mining, energy, and medicine. It is also interesting to note that South Africa is home to some of the world's best scientists and pioneers. Chairperson, science, technology, and innovation are critical for economic growth and development and in enhancing the quality of life of all South Africans. The National Development Plan considers science, technology, and innovation as key aspect of the South African developmental agenda. According to the NDP, science and technology are crucial to equitable growth, and advances in this field underpin the advances in the economy. The NDP has its vision for South Africa to eliminate poverty and reduce inequality by 2030 through the variety of measures that would radically unleash the energies of citizens, grow an inclusive economy from being unsustainable, resources intensive to becoming knowledge-based. This signifies a clear alignment of the department's Vision 2018, the resolution of the 53rd ANC National Conference on Science and Technology, and the National Development Plan. This shows consistency and a commitment by the African National Congress to move South Africa forward. It is for this reason that the ANC-led South African government, through the Department of Science and Technology, held consultative engagements in 2004 and subsequently in 2009 with relevant stakeholders in order to develop paleosciences strategy. Paleosciences refer to the field of paleontology, paleoanthropology, archaeology, and related disciplines. You see, we know these things now. These fields, without going too deep into what each actually entails, collectively are the scientific fields related to the evolution of humankind on this earth and the activity of humankind through history. This field is more deeper, as it also focuses on complex systems of development of culture, civilization, and the political order. Phytosciences in South Africa has been covered with a tainted blanket of a pre-1994 system that was based on racial segregation. As a result, an important geographical advantage for South Africa in the study of human evolution has been hidden for a long time locally and has been overlooked in the international arena, depriving South Africa to contribution to a better Africa and a better world. South Africa has a rich natural and cultural heritage and has provided fossils evidence that points to a common human ancestry. We need to develop local scientists to interrogate these fossils and other undiscovered fossils in order to clarify the issue of the origins of modern human. This can never be more important as golden rhino and other evidence of a wealthy African kingdom. The strategy has been put in place to vitalize the field of paleosciences in South Africa through human capital development and modernization of paleosciences infrastructure. The Center for Competence and Paleosciences at the University of Witwatersrand has been recently launched by the former Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Derek Haneko. The center will address the following questions. How does the South African paleosciences record improve our understanding of the origins of species, both human and animal? What are the key behavioral transitions of hominid prehistory, including the origins of modern human behavior? What are the systems that drive evolution? What are the roles of extinction and radiation in the evolutionary process? Already, South Africa has a rich heritage in terms of fossils evidence with the finding of Mrs. Bless, Australopithecus africanus in the Sterkfontein area in what has been designed as the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site, which is situated approximately 70 kilometers southwest of Pretoria in the province of Gauteng. Recently, the finding of 6 fossils, Australopithecus sediba, who is thought to be the traditional species from Australopithecus into Homo. Homo includes us, the modern human. The boy fossils is named Karabo, which name came out through the process of public participation and school competition. Many other fossils have been found within the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site, which covers 47,000 hectares of land, some dating back to more than 3.5 million years ago. The Taung child, found in Northwest Province in 1924, is also an example of the rich fossil heritage South Africa has in terms of tracing our modern human origins. The paleosciences strategy will strengthen research in this area in order to shed light of our common national identity and perhaps our common international identity. The Indigenous Knowledge System portfolio of the Department of Science and Technology has been incorporated into bioeconomy sub-program to reflect the 2013 approval by Cabinet on the National Bioeconomy Strategy. The Department of Science and Technology has recently launched the Indigenous Knowledge Systems Bioprospecting and Product Development Platform in order for the country to add value to products, processes, and services that are inspired by Indigenous knowledge system holders and practitioners. As part of mainstreaming Indigenous knowledge system, the Bioprospecting Platform has focused on African traditional medicines, nutraceuticals, and cosmeceuticals. An agreement was signed by 16 parties involved in the Department of Science and Technology's Bioprospecting and Product Development Platform for Indigenous Knowledge System. Among them are the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, which oversees work on nutraceuticals, the Medical Research Council, which coordinates the work of African traditional medicines, the University of Pretoria, which oversees work on cosmeceuticals, and organizations representing traditional healers. The Bioprospecting Agreement governing how the intellectual property rights and benefits of commercialization should be shared between scientists and the holders of indigenous knowledge. The nutraceutical program is developing products from indigenous teas, while the African Traditional Medicine program is doing preclinical safety testing of candidate treatment for tuberculosis and HIV. These cosmeceuticals program includes plant extract that even out skin tone. The 2013 bioeconomy strategy has been developed in order to exploit local biodiversity through indigenous knowledge system and biotechnology technology for sustainable economic, social, and environmental development. The vision is for the South African bioeconomy to contribute 5% of gross domestic product by 2050 through the creation of bio-based services, product, and innovations, including bio-entrepreneurs and intellectual property management. A major comparative advantage for the bioeconomy is the fact that South Africa is the third most biologically diverse country in the world, with almost 10% of the world-known plant species and 15% of all known coastal marine species. Furthermore, South Africa comprises 9 unique vegetation types, of which 3 have been declared global biodiversity hotspot. It is also the only country to contain the entire floral kingdom, the so-called Cape Floristic region. South Africa's natural capital of biological diversity, combined with its wealth of indigenous knowledge, form one of the country's greatest assets. The bioeconomy has been allocated an amount of 411 million over the next 3 years.
Can honourable member? There's a point of order. Do you want to?
The honourable member has been speaking for at least 40 seconds over time.
It's not a point of order. It's not a point of order. But I think
You have more minutes from the ANC.
She has a minute. Can you, honourable member, continue?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Socio-economic innovation in the bioeconomy and indigenous knowledge space has several examples, and the KwaNobuhle Essential Oils project is one of them. This Department of Science and Technology Essential Oils project is managed by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research and is one of several examples of socio-economic innovation and job creation, including, in conclusion, Chairperson, on the outskirts of KwaNobuhle Township in the Eastern Cape, town of Uitenhage. The farm of 30 hectares is covered in neatly planted rows of rose genarium and Lipia javanica, commonly known as fever tea. Leaves, stems, and flowers of these aromatic plants are harvested and essential oils are extracted from them. Ngqongqoshe, thina malungu kaKhongolose sizosebenza ngokubambisana nawe kanti futhi sifisela inhlanhla kuyo yonke imizamo yenzayo kanye nomkhandlu wakho nomnyango wakho. Thank you very much.
Siyabulela kakhulu lungu elihloniphekileyo. Honourable members, Honourable Madisha will not be participating. I therefore call upon Honourable Kekana.
Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Ministers, Deputy Ministers present, Honourable members of this House, Director General and the compound. Good morning. The research and development is typically the conception and implementation of product ideas. The research portion of research and development refers to the investigation and experimentation stage of creating a new product or improving an existing product. The development portion is the process of designing and testing the effectiveness of the new product or product improvement. Worldwide, millions of dollars each year is spent on research and development by governments, non-governmental organizations, and corporations. The research and development is typically carried out in the research and development departments of many different organizations. For the most part, research side is taken on by universities, governments, non-profit organizations, while the development stage is undertaken by manufacturers and for-profit making corporations. Some organizations may hire an independent research and development or pool their resources with similar companies to make their investment more effective. Honorable Chairperson, if we build on our recent success in expanding investment in research and development, we will be able to build new industrial processes that are both locally innovative and international competitive, like more jobs and greater wealth. Lies in increased research and development, accruing new patent and trademarks, developing new technologies for transforming traditional industry, creating new product, training, developing an acute knowledge of markets and their needs. Honorable Minister, South Africa has maintained steady growth in research and development expenditure since 1994, with gross expenditure of research and development growing fiffold from 4 billion in 1997-1998. The ratio of gross expenditure research domestic as a percentage of gross domestic product has expanded over this from 0 to 69% to 0.92%, indicating a growing role of research and development within the economy. However, from 2007 and 2008, there has been a decline in gross expenditure research development as a percentage of gross domestic product. South Africa will need to double up on its 2005 level of gross expenditure research development of 21 billion rand to a range of about 41 billion to 46 billion rand by 2014, if it is to reach 1.5% gross expenditure research development or gross domestic product target. Ideally, gross expenditure research development should grow at a range between 16 to 20% annually, given the prospect for a higher gross domestic product growth. In the medium term, the requirement for gross expenditure research of development is even higher. Chen, noting that the overall research and development intensity in South Africa is low in relation to national policy targets and global benchmark. Greater levels of commercialization and usage of research results can unlock South Africa's potential for economic growth. Significant advances in the scientific and technological arena require increase in high-skilled human capital, as well as good quality research infrastructure and equipment. South Africa has a well-developed base and network of public science research institutions focusing on key priority areas, which need to be maintained and strengthened in building a long-term scientific capabilities. Honorable Minister, as you have alluded here, on Africa Day 2012, South Africa has won the bid to co-host the Square Kilometre Array Radio Telescope, one of the great science projects of the 21st century. This project is of such magnitude that the Square Kilometre Array central computer will have processing power of about 100 pieces, and the dishes of the Square Kilometre Array will produce 10 times the data of the current global internet traffic. The Square Kilometre Array will be far more sensitive than any telescope that exists anywhere in the world. It will enable scientists to address fundamental questions about our universe, including the formation and evolution of stars, galaxies, and quasars, the nature of gravity and matter, and may even answer the perennial question, is there intelligent life out there? The Square Kilometre Array will cost 1.5 to 2 billion pounds, according to the 9 countries consortium behind the project. Nearer $6 billion, according to America's National Science Foundation. On 23rd November 2012, those 9 countries being Australia, Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, New Zealand, and South Africa, and possibly China as well, committed themselves to paying 90 million for the initial engineering planning phase. But it will be when the work on the actual telescope begins in 2016. that the crunch comes. This is where Mericate, named after the species of monogos found in arid areas of southwestern Africa, such as Karoo, will be built. The construction of its dishes has been put out to tender, and it is expected to be fully operational by 2016. If Mericate succeeds, it will help persuade governments to join up and pay for the scar. Honorable Chair, for the region to develop science and technology must be taken serious and set out in the 2005 NEPAD's document, Africa's Science and Technology Consolidated Plan of Action. The Consolidation Plan of Action pronounces Africa's common objectives and commitment to collective action in order to promote science and technology for the socio-economic transformation of the continent and its integration into the global economy. The continent's commitment to collaboration in science and technology was highlighted as the 2007 summit of the African Union heads of state and government, and members declared the year as the year for building constituencies and champions for science, technology, and innovation in Africa. Following the summit of 2007, South Africa has established collaborative research platforms throughout the continent. These being initiatives such as the African Institute for Mathematical Science, African Laser Center, and the Southern African Network for Biosciences, and the NetUp initiative. All over the world, the private sector is a crucial player in advancing the development of new products, services, and even industries on the basis of good scientific knowledge and technological development. It is not uncommon for a country's science technology strengths to be measured by its private sector. For example, Samsung, Kia, LG, Hyundai help make Korea a technological powerhouse. In concluding, South Africa has also has its fair share of leading-edge companies that have made their mark on the basis of science, technology, and innovation. This includes the cutting-edge developments within Sasol, Nexa, MTN, mining companies, etc. However, South Africa business is in danger of falling behind other countries in the world. For example, over the last few years, the private sector has not been increasing its share of spending on R&D and have in fact fallen behind government as the largest investor. Companies are also not innovating in cutting-edge areas as much as they should. Innovation, in particular, happens within companies as they try to sort out challenges and in response to opportunities. The ANC supports the budget in moving South Africa forward. I thank you.
Siyabulela kakhulu. Sibiza ilungu elihloniphekileyo. Mncwango.
The Honorable Madam Chairperson, from the very onset, the IFP actually supports this budget. I want also to congratulate you, Madam Minister and Madam Deputy Minister, for your appointment as both Minister and Deputy respectively. But the IFP would like to commend the President also for bringing back Minister Pando to this portfolio, which she previously actually handled with aplomb. This is a very demanding and technical portfolio which requires skill, intelligence, and insight. In this respect, the IFP urges the Minister to ensure that the right people are placed in the right positions for the right reasons and not because of ulterior motives. Such placements will have a weakening effect on the department. The Square Kilometre Array, commonly known as SKA, is one of the biggest projects that this department is currently dealing with, and the IFP would firstly like to congratulate the SKA team on being in the forefront of scientific advancement in South Africa. We also pass our congratulations to Dr. Roger Dean from the University of Cape Town, who is leading an international team of scientists in exploring the expanse of our universe. It is through such things as the SKA project, Madam Chairperson, that scientists are even returning to South Africa as it presents them with an opportunity to expand their research. We hope that through such projects and many others, we will see the reversal of the brain drain and more scientists staying than leaving our shores. The department's research capacity is still in need of further expansion in order to ensure that we draw on the skills base of a largely untapped majority of our people. Greater access for young Black women is still needed in this field. With expansion in research and development, we hope to continue winning the fight against diseases that affect the most poor and vulnerable of our people. The department must ensure that it has the capacity to give greater attention to this. Now, the ANC will actually do well to take heed of this. Often the best intentioned budgets fail in implementation through mismanagement and the ever-present problem of corruption. That is our scourge in the society. It is therefore concerning
1 minute left.
That just 3 months ago, the ANC called on the public protector to investigate the new deputy minister for the alleged misuse of municipal funds at the Zululand District Municipality. We hope that this investigation will continue for the sake of transparency and in the interest of clean governance. No, that you guys actually started it. I didn't lead a march in Ulundi, you did. You need to ask Peggy Kele and not me. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I call upon Honorable J. F. Blanche.
Honourable Chairperson, Minister and Deputy Minister, honourable members, officials and guests. Firstly, I would like to welcome back Minister Naledi Pandor to her former department. I hope the good work started under your guidance and that of your successor, Minister Derek Hanekom, now predecessor, would continue. Furthermore, I would like to compliment the department, which was rated as the best managed national department, and I sincerely hope that through proper planning and execution of those plans, the department will be able to retain this position. Honourable Chairperson, a concern as identified by the Auditor General about the reliability of information presented in the respect of the number of SMMEs provided with technology support and the number of masters and doctoral students funded or co-funded in designated niche areas included in the socio-economic partnerships should be addressed. A repeated AG finding that 29% of targets set by the department during the previous financial year that shouldn't be achieved should be a red flag to the department and should receive urgent attention. A further area of concern, however, is the AKS, the indigenous knowledge system that falls under the bioeconomy sub-program, which is responsible for the bioeconomy strategy which was approved by Cabinet last year. Since the 2010-2011 budget, the amount given to this project has been increased almost threefold. But other than the establishment of the research center hosted by the University of KZN, very little has been produced in terms of results. The NRF report also refers to it as a long-term view to growing critical capacity in this area of expertise. Chairperson, being married to a researcher and specifically one in the field of Lepidoptera, which is butterflies and moths, biodiversity and the preservation thereof is something very close to my heart. For example, South Africa has a total of about 660 butterfly species, a group of insects that could be very valuable as indicators and early warning systems for environmental change. Here where we are now at the Cape Peninsula, there are 70 species of butterflies compared to the 59 species of the whole of the United Kingdom. In one small reserve, the Legalametsi Nature Reserve near Tsanin, there are about 200 species of butterfly. In addition, it is estimated that for each butterfly species, there are about 15 moth species, of which some are of direct economic importance, and some, like the African silk moth and the Mopani moth, still have unknown potential in direct economic terms. But apart from butterflies and moths, I will mention a few other comparisons. The Cape Floristic region, one of the world's 6 floral kingdoms, is entirely contained in 0.04 of the Earth's land surface. This Cape Floristic region contains 8,550 plant species, of which 70% are endemic to this region. The total number of plant species that are indigenous at the Cape Peninsula are similar to that of the entire England. With only 2% of the planet's land area, the country of South Africa is home to 6% of the world's plant and mammal species, 8% of bird species, and 5% of reptile species. Many of these plant and animal species are only found in South Africa. There are countless examples of how special our indigenous biodiversity is, of which many are covered well by publications from SANBI. South Africa is blessed with a rich natural heritage that needs to be preserved. We signed a memorandum of understanding with the IBOL in 2011 to establish a national node for the project which is managed through the South African Biodiversity Institute. The Foundation Biodiversity Information Program is a new program formed and funded by the department that was implemented in 2013. Some of the constraints experienced are the lack of awareness among scientists of what barcoding processes and requirements are, and a lack of awareness of the value of DNA barcoding for documenting biodiversity, identifying new species, and for its application in monitoring ecosystems, biosecurity, and the already mentioned biodiversity conservation. South Africa has about 100,000 known species of plant, animal, and fungi combined, and up to date, about 8,000, only 8%, have been barcoded. The cost of barcoding one species varies to where it needs to be collected from. It could vary from between 2,000 to 3,000 rand to do it. The department has an annual investment of about 9 million rand. The estimated cost of completing the barcoded reference library for priority species would be 48 million rand, and about 5 years would be required to complete the work. It is really heartening to see the department has put the energy and resources into such an important project. Another project, Minister, the Governmental project in the Eastern Cape, where on an oversight visit we could see firsthand the difference that e-learning and bringing children into the technological era could do is of importance. I would like to express the hope that the pilot project is soon expanded, not only in the Eastern Cape, but also to other provinces and other rural areas like the one we had the privilege of visiting. We live in a knowledge-based society, and children need to be equipped with the skills, not only to survive, but to make a sustainable living using technology as a helpful tool. I thank the department for their role in making science and technology accessible through their contributions to science centers and laboratories and through projects like the e-learning project. It is projects like these that give me hope for our country's children, the future of tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. I call upon Honourable Matale.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Honourable Minister of Science and Technology and a member of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, Comrade Naledi Pandor, and the Deputy Minister. Minister of Human Settlement present here, a member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, the chairperson of our committee, Dr. Gotwana, and members of the committee, the Director General, the committee secretary, and members from the opposition parties present here. No, he is saying, and Julius. Science is the beginning of knowledge, and technology consolidates innovation that is much needed to propel forward our economic objectives and ambitions as a country. Science and technology represent the most sustainable form of knowledge economy that has the necessary capacity to assist in our quest to improve the living standard of our people. Honorable Chairperson, the apartheid government realized the importance of science in the development of any human being to the extent that they made it difficult for Africans to study any science-related subjects. African schools were not given the necessary infrastructure, including human capital, to offer science subjects to learners. Black universities were not allowed to offer qualifications such as engineering and metallurgy. Blacks who were interested in studying engineering had to get permission from the Minister of Bantu Education, who mostly declined the applications, refusing many of our people the opportunity to become engineers. The few that received permission were further subjected to many other pre-registration conditions before being accepted by white universities as full engineering students. The main intention of the apartheid government was to ensure that the oppressed masses of our people do not get quality education, which would have placed them at the same level with their privileged white counterparts. But still, under such conditions, the oppressed Africans succeeded in becoming scientists of high quality, high standard, and high reputation. Honorable Chairperson, today we are humbled and proud that former black universities are beginning to register their presence in the science world by producing more young scientists, in particular female scientists from rural communities. It did not come as a surprise that Professor Rapela Regina Mapanga from the University of Limpopo won the T.W. Kambule National Science Technology Forum Award for being a distinguished young black female researcher in South Africa. It is also important to mention that Prof. Mapanga became the country's second black female PhD graduate in physics, entering a field that is still white male dominated. Although there is a noticeable progress registered in producing more black female PhD graduates in physics, more still need to be done. In 1994, when the African National Congress-led government took over, there was no single black female PhD graduate in physics. But at this point in our lifetime, under the leadership of the ANC, our country has more than 30 black female PhD graduates in physics, and more will be produced. We will not rest until the legacy of apartheid is completely eradicated. A scientific brain knows no color, and this has been the case since the beginning of time, and it will remain as such in science and technology. As we are about to enter the Women's Month, the 2.2 academic institutions and produce able to continue promoting exceptional scientific achievements which are valuable with the necessary infrastructures, an achievement which is worth celebrating. Tertiary institutions, the TV are providing affordable broadband connectivity to rural schools. The task seeing a solid economy that is supported by strong pillars of science. Country needs sustainable industries that grows the economy and mostly creates job opportunities for our people, requires modern facilities, and which is fast emerging as an alternative form of industry. For scientists their respective mandates. The departments must be supported in its efforts of placing our country on the geography of high knowledge production. The story about science changing the living conditions of our people. The allocation of funds to various sectors clearly shows that we are on the right path, and the departments must take it into consideration the recommendations made by the economy. Our understanding is very clear that the struggle continues. The resources are not enough, Comrade Minister, but with what we have, let's do more to serve our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Matale. The Honorable Minister Pando.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Honorable members, I'd like to thank all honorable members for their participation in this debate. I must confess I'm extremely relieved that the EFF was able to say more than monopoly capital, which has become their mantra in the past few weeks. While I agree with some of what had been said by the member of the EFF, I'm a little astounded that despite the list of demands tabled by the honorable member, they will vote against the budget. I'm surprised that they believe these things can be done without money. So it's very, very peculiar. Nevertheless, allow me to comment on one or two of the remarks that had been made by honorable members, and I must say all the contributions have been of great value for us. It is true, as the honorable member of the DA indicated, that we are below average in many of the comparative indicators that are utilized by the OECD. But I think that we need to look at areas where we are performing better. For example, our female researcher participation is at 43%, while the OECD average is 33%. Also, in certain thematic domains, the impact of our research is significantly above the global average. Examples of this are astrophysics, as well as astronomy, computer science, and environmental research. And these are colleagues from the OECD who have shared some of this information with me, especially around female researcher participation. So there are areas in which we do well, but I think it is quite difficult to compare us with the OECD, given our level of development and the history that we have, plus the steps we need to jump. But we've determined that while we will develop locally, we're going to compete globally. And my department is very set on that and will continue that level of ambition. That's why when we were being told, why are you bidding for the SKA? You should feed your people. Don't worry yourself about this global area of science. We illustrated to those who are making those comments that global participation in an iconic project such as that will lead to immense development opportunity for us. So we develop local, but we want to be globally competitive as well. We also agree on the subject of coordination. It's a matter in which we're having a great deal of discussion, and we certainly will be making proposals to Parliament as to how we believe this can happen. Could I say to the honourable members, on the issue of the budget, it was the honourable members of this House who voted on a piece of legislation that allows honourable members to alter the budget. And as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any shift by any of the parliaments since that legislation was adopted by the House. Now, since you're so concerned about the budget to the DST, maybe you need to do something and use your power, because you haven't done so up to now. I have detailed the investment we're making into the Youth into Science programs and the range of programs in which we are active. Honourable members speaking from the ANC, particularly our Deputy Minister, who is a leader of the NFP, made reference to the wireless mesh technology that we've deployed in several schools and institutions throughout the country. We are wanting to widen the wireless mesh network and implement our programs in the Western Cape, as well as expand in the province of Mpumalanga. So we are already using that technology. On the matter of unemployed graduates and tracking of graduates, I think this is an area in which not just ourselves as science and technology are weak. I believe many of our universities don't have any understanding, Professor Habib, as to why our graduates remain unemployed. We don't track them. We're not really monitoring what's happening to them. It is an area in which we believe we need to develop some expertise and support. We are employing graduates in our 36 science centers in order to give them opportunity to assist young people to improve their maths and science development. I must say, I wish to thank the chairperson for demystifying science for many of us, and I believe that he'll continue to support us in that work as we refresh the mandate of SASTA and expand our youth science development strategy. I thank honourable members again, and I look forward to our debate in the next budget cycle. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, also to the Minister and Deputy Minister and all members for vibrant debate. Members are also reminded that a debate on parliamentary budget will be taking place at 14 hours in the National Assembly chamber. That then concludes the debate and the business for today of this extended public committee. The committee will now rise. Thank you.